Welcome back. Global Builder's Guide, Episode 3. I'm Enigmius, and this is a tower made out of stone. If you've watched the previous two episodes, you know that we had a tower made out of dirt, but this is in fact a tower made out of stone. More importantly, it's a tower made out of stone that was built entirely with a turtle, which is kind of cool because it's taking the basic concepts that we're going to be using forward into this project and illustrating them in a way that's not only practical but is also kind of fun. I actually have a time lapse of the construction of this particular tower, or more specifically 80% of it, because I misjudged how long it would take the turtle to build. I recorded for 10 minutes. The turtle took about 11 or 12 to do the building, so missed a little bit on the end, but that's okay. We can go up and take a look at it and you'll see missed about that much of the top of the tower, so not really a whole lot. You can see the turtle is up there waiting dutifully for the next script to be run, having completed the first solid stone tower. Now previously I'd been making these out of dirt because if you could have seen how many times I had to break down the tower and start over as I was testing and debugging the script that made this possible, you would know that if I also had to add to that the rebaking of the cobblestone into smooth stone for the next build, I would have lost my mind. There would have been nothing left of my mind. It would have been absolutely horrible. But we survived. We survived. A turtle has built a tower out of stone. Now, I wish I could tell you about all the other features that I added to the turtle. There's a couple that I can talk about, but I want to tell you actually a story about a bug that kept me busy for 2 whole days. I'm not going to take too long with this, but the reason why I want to tell this story for people who are maybe interested in getting into structured programming or Lua or whatever, or who just are wondering what the hell goes on behind the scenes, these games that we play talking about the bugs that never get fixed. Well, sometimes that's just the way things happen. You see, I had a bug where what was supposed to happen is the turtle would start down here at the very bottom and receive the first chunk of coordinates. In the last episode we talked about how the coordinates are broken down into 16 by 16 by 16 block high segments. The turtle says, I'm ready to build something, and the computer says, okay, here you go, here's a segment of coordinates to work on. And the computer is supposed to build those and say, okay, I'm done, give me another one, and the computer says, okay, here's another one. And in this case, it would be a total of 4 segments the computer would feed to the turtle when the turtle was ready for them to build the tower all the way up to the top. What was happening is the turtle was building the first segment, receiving the second segment, and then stopping. It wouldn't build, and I couldn't figure out why. I did everything that I could possibly think of until finally I just went into full debug mode, and I had the turtle displaying everything it was doing on its little terminal. I had the computer displaying a bunch of stuff that it was doing on this terminal, but also using the monitor to display a grid of every coordinate that was being fed to the turtle to make sure, first of all, is the computer sending the right information? Is the turtle receiving the right information? And if all of that is good, then why isn't it building? It turns out I had one word, end, in the wrong place. And because of that, there's one little check. When the turtle receives a new segment of information, it says, am I supposed to put a block in the very first position for this segment? And if the answer is yes, then the turtle moves up one, places the block, and then it starts the looped routine to go through and find all of the other places where it's supposed to put blocks and place them. Now, because I had put the end in the wrong location, if there was no block here that the turtle had to place for the beginning of each segment, then it would skip the whole process of placing all of the other blocks. So you can see there, I showed you, that was the first place for it to place a block within that segment. And there was a block to place, and 3 other blocks above that, and then if we go up, you see there were no other blocks in the first location for any of the segments. So the turtle refused to build any other segments, and it took me 2 days to find out the reason for that issue, because it wasn't a syntax error. It wasn't an error using the wrong command or a command that didn't exist or using a command in the wrong way. And it wasn't a runtime error in terms of incompatible data types and no way to convert them or anything like that. It was one of those logic errors that nobody can help you find until you track down step by step every little thing that's going on and get to the heart of the matter. 2 days. That's my story. That's why we're a little short on specifics that I can show you. Lots of refinements, lots of tweaks, lots of changes in the process of getting that whole thing ready to finding that bug. But what I can show you, in the last episode, we were talking about how the turtle was only able to use one inventory slot. Now you can see already, if you look, the turtle exited the script on an error, which I'm fine with because it built everything it was supposed to and the error is inconsequential. Here's the turtle's inventory. It's a 16 slot inventory. The last episode I was only able to use one of those slots just because of the way I had set things up. I hadn't set up a system whereby the turtle could check other inventory spaces to see if there was something there it could build with. So after it used 64 of whatever I was building with, that was it. It would just go around placing air. I don't have anything, but I'm still getting instructions to go around and place these blocks that I don't have. So that's what I'm going to do, is basically what the turtle was saying. Now we're set up so that we can have this thing filled up with building materials, and the turtle will check through the inventory to make sure that it's got things to work with some exceptions. One is that if there's fuel, it checks in the 16th slot. And the reason why I set that up is because I didn't bother to check and see if turtles would use wood as fuel. But if you can imagine, you get your hands on these scripts and you want to build your towers only instead of stone, you want to build them out of wood. So you load up the turtle's inventory with planks, and the first thing the turtle does is eat them all for fuel. I would expect some of you would be a little bit unhappy with me. So now we're just going to have it so slot 16 is fuel, and the bottom 4 slots, when the turtle is in survey mode, might be reserved for other things as well. But that's a discussion that we'll have when we're unveiling survey mode sometime in the future. So that's what we've got. Now, what do we have left to do before we're done with these stinking towers and we can get on to some other things that might be different for the sake of variety, if for no other reason? We need to do 3 more towers. And what I want to do for the next tower is set it up so that it can add ladders to at least one side of the central column. Because as you can see, I'm using a mod that allows me to build armor that gives me the capability to fly. I don't expect other people will have access to that kind of mod. Maybe some people will just be running vanilla Minecraft with computer craft added so that they can use these scripts with the turtles and the computers, but they aren't necessarily interested in running any other mods. So no flight for them means it would be kind of a nice feature if the turtle would put ladders on the towers for them so that they can get up to the top if they need to. Additionally, in order for these to work as proper GPS towers, we need a computer and a wireless modem on the top of it. If we can get the turtle to place those properly, that would be a bonus. Placing the computer itself shouldn't be an issue. Placing the modem, I don't think will be an issue either, but I have to test and make sure because it's one of those things where you have to place it on the side of the computer. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You can't place it on, the side of the stone or side of this or anything other than a computer. And we want to make sure that that's going to be done properly if we're going to try and have the turtle do it at all. The additional benefit is that if we've got the turtle building out of stone and then adding ladders and adding computers and modems, it means we've also set up the computer to handle multiple different materials. Instead of just saying this turtle builds with stone and nothing but stone, we will have the computer somehow set up to manage pretty much anything. Whatever we should happen to call upon or need is what we will do. So that's the next major goal, is to get that done. Then we'll build the second tower, and then I'll kind of figure out what, if anything, I need to add before we build the third tower, just using the towers as the testing grounds for the things that we're adding. And then once we've got the fourth tower in place, the GPS system will be ready to go, and then we can start building things that are, like I say, a little more diverse, a little more interesting, because I'm kind of tired of living in a little hut. Even though we are, in the hut overlooking the lake, which is kind of a cool place, it's still just a wee little hut. So that's what we're going to be working on. Eventually, we will take over the world. But for now, let's take a look at the time-lapse. I'll leave you with the time-lapse because I still stick to the idea that I don't want to make a 20-minute episode updating you guys on what's going on if I've only got 2 minutes worth of stuff to talk about. So I'm going to let you watch the time lapse, and then the next episode will be out as soon as the second tower is built. So leave your comments and feedback, please, below the video. If you have any questions about the texture pack, the shaders mod, the mods that I'm using, whatever, you can find them in the information section below the video. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.
What?